Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk to you today about the difference or the discernment between the inner voice and the ego voice. The ego voice is a part of our brains, a part of our mind, a part of our conditioning, a part of our failures, thoughts, worries, concerns, all the stuff that has kind of led us to this point in our lives that may or may not have served us, but are almost typically not in the right direction for ourselves. And the reason I say not in the right direction is because often our ego will jump in and try and create outcomes for our lives and outcomes for ourselves that are not necessarily in our highest good. So, what is our highest good? Our highest good is essentially where our heart is yearning for us to go, wherever it might be. For someone, it might be to have 10 children. For somebody else, it might be to be a multimillionaire. For somebody else, it might be, I just want to write that book. Whatever it is that your heart's desire truly is, and if you can know and really tune into what that is, it's a really powerful knowledge to have. The next question that people have, though, is where do I go from here? How do I actually get there? And typically, the way that we get there is by following our intuitive voice as often as we can, with as many things as we can. Because what our intuitive voice does, it's also connected to our higher purpose, which is kind of almost like the direct route to wherever our heart's desire is taking us. So, whatever it is that you're looking for in life, if your heart is kind of directing you in that direction and you're not really sure how to get there, come back to your intuitive choices. What should I do today? What's my next step? How do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? And one of the things that I want to remind you of or to make you aware of is that it's not always as easy as, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Because we have something called ego, we also have something called belief systems and all sorts of stuff that can actually stop us or sabotage our movement forward wherever we're supposed to be going with our heart's desire. And one of the tools in order to get to that heart's desire as quick as possible is to recognize when we're talking from our ego place or when we're talking from our heart place. And when we learn how to differentiate, this becomes a very, very powerful way to be. The first thing to do is to slow down your breath, slow down your movement, slow down your thoughts, get yourself kind of really connected into your center. You can do that through meditation, you can do that through exercise, you can do that through writing. There's a whole bunch of different tools out there that you can use to slow down. And then once you've done that, you can then start to ask yourself questions. And one of the ways that you can do that is rather than trying to have a conversation with your intuition or your heart space, you can feel into what actually feels right. Now, it's not going to be wordy. It's not going to bring in doubts. It's going to be a knowing. So play with this in small ways. Should I go here or should I go there, right? What's the best way for me to go right now? And feel into your heart. When you feel into it, choice A, do you feel expanded? Do you feel calm? Do you feel happy? When you feel into choice B, do you feel expanded? Do you feel calm? Do you feel happy? Typically, if the answer is yes, then you know that you're listening to your heart's choice. Okay. And if you're not sure, just put your hands there. It's actually a really easy thing to do. If you're feeling into choice B or choice A, and you have this kind of feeling of constriction or fear or reaction or talk, a whole bunch of talk in your mind, if you have a whole kind of dialogue about how it's probably going to go wrong, or I'm not really sure about that, and what about this and what about that, that, my dear friends, is ego. And that is our fear, and that is our old beliefs. You're going to have a knowing. It's either going to feel yes, expansive, safe, or it's going to feel no, constricted, and not okay. And the no, constricted, not okay is not necessarily a fear or a reaction, but if you start to go into dialogue, if you have a huge amount of emotion, then that's when your ego is taking over. It's either going to be safe, calm, happy, expanded, yes. No, constricted, this is not for me, no. Or you're going to have, so all of that is heart, or you're going to have emotions. You're going to have fear, you're going to have dialogue. And your body's going to start to race and you're going to have a bodily reaction. You might sweat, you might feel teary, you might lose vision, you might feel like you're going to fall down, you might feel heart palpitations, whatever it is. That's your nervous system arcing up. It's bringing in the sympathetic nervous system, and your ego is taking over beliefs, fears, worries, concerns, anxiety. Okay? So I hope I'm being clear. The ego part is going to bring up old stuff, and it's going to make your body react, and it's going to make you feel fearful, and there's going to be a lot of dialogue. Okay? If you're listening to your heart, it's going to be a calm, either expansive yes or a constricted no. It's not going to be dialogue. It's not going to be emotive. It just is. I just want you to play with this, because there is either the yes or the no, and that can be your heart. Your heart can say no, but it's never going to be fearful, and there's never going to be emotion. It's just going to be a no, this isn't right. Okay? And that is sometimes a very frustrating thing, because that can actually slow down your progress in other ways. Or it can just mean that you need to be quiet and patient and wait for the right choice to come along. And that is fine. This is when patience is very, very important. But I just want you to discern the difference between lots of emotion, lots of talk, and just a calm yes or a calm no. Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week.